Humble greetings, sir. It's good to see you at long last. I came as soon as I could when I heard about your predicament. I'm just entering the door into your bedroom now, and I'm approaching your bed, if you will allow me, that is. Splendid. I'm Arpej, the potions person you sent for, and it's my understanding you've recently lost your vision. I am deeply sorry to hear. You have my condolences, but more importantly, my help. Might I ask, when was the last time you remember seeing? It's okay if you don't quite know how long ago that was. Do you remember what the date was? I see. So, it has been 3 days. It's a shame it has lasted this long, but I'm glad it won't last any longer. To start with, would you allow me to examine your eyes? Thank you. I'll just move your hair out of your face here and there. You have a lovely appearance, you know. Oh, to be your mirror and receive your softest gaze. If you wish, I can recommend some lotions to keep your facial scales resilient, elastic, and nourished. There is a woman who raises goats and uses their milk and herbs to make soaps and lotions. I dare say they are miraculous, but you didn't hear that rumor from me. Now, let's open those eyelids. There we are. Now, at first glance, they seem perfectly fine. You seem to also be able to focus on me, looking for the origin of my voice, I presume. Yes. That tells me the muscles controlling your eyes are still working the way they ought to be. That's good. Okay, I'm going to shine a light into them, one at a time, just briefly, and not directly. But do let me know if you sense anything. Here we go. And anything? No? Okay. Now the other one. And still nothing? I see. Well, your pupils have dilated from the light, but you didn't experience any change in vision. I will have another look, a bit deeper. Let me reach into my satchel here and take out my magnifier. I realize that these are rudimentary devices. A proper obstetrician would be better prepared. But alas, my field involves potions and reagents, not obstetrician work. But, nevertheless, this ought to do fine. Now I'll snap my finger 3 times. If you could try to look at the sound of my snapping, it would be much obliged. Thank you. Now, to your lower left. Alright. Lower right. Very good. Upper right. Alright. And once again for the other eye. Starting with the upper left. Good. Lower left. Good. Lower right. Excellent. Once more, upper right. Good. Well, there doesn't seem to be any damage or whiteness to the cornea. Have you been outside your lair recently? Not too long ago before you noticed your eyesight going? Okay. I am aware of some arcane magics in the area, but nothing I can think of that would strike someone blind, let alone being as resilient to hexes as a dragon. We would be able to divine something from your flame help, and at the risk of me being immolated, though. On second thought, let's not try that. Besides, I think there is a better way to make sure we solve whatever is causing this. For a little fee, that is. Barely pocket change for you. A thing you have practically no need for. And just a small token of your appreciation. I am willing to make you a rather exotic concoction. First, I'll require 14 ounces of gold as standard cost. I need to be able to travel, perform upkeep on my tent, keep my reagents stocked, oil in my lamp, and food and ale in my stomach. It's not too much to ask, and barely noticeable for you. Secondly, and I have heard of a scroll containing the recipe of a potion which makes the user impervious to thievery. Unfortunately, every owner of the scroll, they believe the object itself had that power and never made use of it. It, quite ironically, led to that scroll being non-consensually changing hands quite a few times until it became renowned as just some silly joke. That is, to anyone who doesn't see it for what it really is. And I reckon you might have such a scroll in this very bedroom. Is that so? Let's just say I'm good with deduction. No need to worry. And I promise, after I restore your sight, you'll be allowed to read it and make sure I'm not trying to trick you. But, let's say, for instance, someone who isn't me were to try to trick you. I'm not entirely certain that scroll by itself would cut the mustard for your protection. I would be happy to make enough potion to last you a lifetime, even one as long as yours. Imagine having a collection without the burden of protecting it. To be immensely privileged among your kind certainly has a nice sound to it, doesn't it? Yes, I thought so. Now finally, one more thing I ask of you. And if nothing else, this is important. You will agree to a spell that will keep you from telling others what I will create for you to cure your blindness. As I mentioned before, it is quite exotic. Only so much of it can be made, and if word got out even about its possibility, it would have gravest consequences. We wouldn't want the humans to start ranching cat girls for slaughter, would we? No, we don't. I beg you, stop considering it. Alright. So, do we agree on the terms of the exchange? You are at very little risk, because if I don't fulfill my end of the bargain, you could have your servant come in and slay me. I would be helpless to stop him. Or you could still incinerate me. That's a possibility after all. If I do succeed, however, you may still want to ensure my safety to allow me to create the potion to protect your collection from thieves. If you need some time to think it over, I can set up my tent outside and yes, there it is. The right choice. Ever so practical and understanding. With that, I will begin making the potion. Now, let's see. Here it is. We'll start with leaves of winterberry and mix it with honey made from the same blossoms. Ginger and cinnamon for nausea. Atropine texture infused with barren weed. Oil of Osiris infused catfish gills to settle any impurities. Oh, oil of Osiris? Oh, that's just a fancy term for any liquid oil that is immiscible in water below the temperature that it boils. Right, just very fancy. Take a moment to let that separate. We'll skim off the top. There. A bit of what? Wait, oops. Let's not do that now. That was close. Where was I? Oh yes, this is what I want. Don't want to put in squid ink when you really want oyster sauce. What? It enhances the umami. You don't think the flavor matters? Oh, you will. You will. Oh, and this thing and that thing, not a big deal, not worth mentioning or bother asking about. Who needs to know? Nobody. There we go. So we'll mix that all together with some water and place it over the fire. This may take a bit. Why not take a moment to relax? I'll watch the cauldron. What a wonderful concoction. What a tragedy you can't see it for yourself. If you're ready to consume... Oh, I see. Very eager. Do you see now how the oyster sauce has made a difference? No? Oh, well, okay. So, you've finished it. Are there any changes in your condition? Ah, yes. Your vision is starting to return to you, isn't it? Splendid. And why, you look like an entirely different dragon with your spirits lifted like this. Very good. Well, I'm getting the sense my duties for the day are complete. When you're ready, I'll take my gold, take the scroll, and we'll draw up the secrecy contract.